Bengaluru, often called the Garden City of India, has grown rapidly over the past few decades as it became a global IT hub. People from across India continue to move here, adding to the city's growing population and traffic. With over 1.2 crore registered vehicles, the average car speed in Bengaluru is just 18 kmph. Hence, a vast and efficient public transport system is the need of the hour in Bengaluru. Bengaluru's Namma Metro covers 95 kilometers today and is expected to expand to 175 kilometers by 2027 and 255 kilometers by the 2030s. The future network of Namma Metro will be a game changer for Bengaluru by connecting many key areas of the city. But Bengaluru needs long-term planning to meet future commuting demands. In March 2025, BMRCL announced that feasibility studies are being conducted to expand Namma Metro by over 197 kilometers to the suburbs of the city. Here's the list of the 8 proposed routes and their lengths, along with a map showing the full metro network once all lines are built. However, it's important to note that not all these lines will be built right away. So which lines are planned to be constructed? A senior BMRCL official said that out of these 197 kilometers of metro lines, 95 to 100 kilometers will be considered for construction. The finalized routes will be chosen by the government based on whatever lines they feel are necessary. However, the criteria for selecting these routes have not been revealed yet. In this video, I will try to suggest a few lines that the government should take into consideration while planning for Phase 4. My proposals for Phase 4 will purely be based on the Comprehensive Mobility Plan for Bengaluru, expert recommendations and responses collected from Bengaluru citizens. I had previously created a Google form to ask citizens what they want in Namma Metro's future expansion, and I have collected over 334 responses between 10th and 19th October when the form was open. Even though 334 responses may seem small, they offer valuable insight into what Bengalurians want. The impact of these opinions will become clear as we go on. Now let's dive into the proposals. Firstly, we must understand that citizens want metro lines to be built within city areas rather than extending them to the suburbs. Over 64.1% of respondents want core city metro connectivity to be the priority for Namma Metro's expansion, compared to just 4.8% who want suburban areas to be connected by metro lines first. The remaining 31.1% suggests that both core city and suburban metro lines should be constructed together in a phased manner. Out of the 197 kilometers of metro lines currently in the feasibility stage, very few stretches, almost none, will connect core city areas. I am not denying that suburban connectivity will be beneficial to the suburbs. However, based on the data, it seems that focusing on metro lines within Bengaluru city limits should be the priority right now. So which lines will really help Bengaluru's core city? Let's look at a few options. The first major proposal to discuss is the Inner Ring Metro. This 34-kilometer underground ring metro line can significantly ease Bengaluru's congestion by connecting major educational and commercial hubs in the core city. Because the core city has narrow roads that are hard to widen, metro rail is a practical solution. This line came into discussion in 2020 when the Indian Institute of Science or IISc evaluated the proposal. Their study revealed that if the Inner Ring Metro is constructed, Namma Metro's ridership may increase by 77% in 2030 compared to what it was in 2020. In fact, this line was also recommended by the Comprehensive Mobility Plan for Bengaluru, targeted to be completed by 2031. However, the proposal has not moved forward even a little, and it is the end of 2025. In the form, when I asked respondents which line they thought was the top priority for Bengaluru, the Inner Ring Metro was the undisputed winner. Over 53.3% considered it the top priority, which is higher than all other 11 corridors combined. This shows the importance that this line holds for Bengaluru. Since this line has been recommended by the Comprehensive Mobility Plan, IISc and Bengaluru citizens, I suggest that the detailed project report or the DPR of the line must be prepared immediately. Just like how the Outer Ring Road and Airport metro lines were fast-tracked and included in Phase 2 itself. Similarly, The inner ring metro should be prioritized and included in Phase 3 as Phase 3B. It may be constructed along with the Phase 3A Sarjapur-Hebbal line. Now let's discuss the other proposals. In the form, I had mentioned 4 metro lines for the core city and I had asked you to select the top 2 lines. The inner ring metro received the maximum votes as previously mentioned, and the next 2 lines received around 45 to 60% votes. These lines include the Hoskote line and the Domlu to Whitefield. These lines might not seem very significant at first, but in the top priority question, they were the second and third choices of Bengaluru citizens right after the inner ring metro. In fact, if I remove the votes for the inner ring metro, then this is how the pie chart will look. I am showing this so you can see why these next 2 lines are important. Let's take a closer look at these proposals. The Domlur-Whitefield line will run along the old airport road, which doesn't yet have metro connectivity. This line was also suggested in 2020 in the Comprehensive Mobility Plan. It was targeted to be completed by 2031, but no work has been initiated on the line. Next, let's talk about the Hoskote line. This line is not a part of the Comprehensive Mobility Plan. However, its history goes back nearly a decade. It was first proposed in 2016 as an alternate east-west corridor apart from the Purple Line, along with the line from Carmel Ram to Yelahanka. These lines were considered for the Phase 3 network of Namma Metro. However, when the Phase 3 lines were finalized along the Outer Ring Road and Magadi Road, these 2 lines completely disappeared. According to a Deccan Herald article, these lines may have been dropped because an elevated corridor was planned along the same route, but the exact reason isn't confirmed. Now that we understand these lines' history and importance, let's discuss how it could be implemented. Since both these lines have a 7-kilometer common section between Domlur and Marathahalli, it is a good idea to develop them as one single metro corridor between Hoskote and Whitefield. This combined line would serve as another east-west corridor for the city, connecting important areas like KR Market, Richmond Circle, Domlur, HAL, Marathahalli and Varthur. This line must be included in Phase 4 considering the importance it holds for the city. Now you may be wondering about the next line which has been chosen as the top priority for the city. The next line in the list is a 68-kilometer long line that will connect the southern suburbs and eastern regions of the city. I am talking about the line that will run from Kalena Agrahara to Kadugudi Tree Park via Bannerghatta National Park, Jigani, Anekal, Attibele, Sarjapur and Varthur. Though it would be the longest Namma Metro line, building it as a single corridor may not be ideal. The main reason for this is that this line shares an almost 5-kilometer section between Sarjapur and Domasandra Circle with the Sarjapur-Hebbal line of Phase 3A. Building another line parallel to it for around 5 kilometers would be redundant. Thus, the line could be split into different parts. One part between Kadugodi Tree Park and Domasandra Circle, the second part between Domasandra Circle and Sarjapur, and the last part between Sarjapur and Kalena Agrahara. While we'll talk about the Sarjapur Kalena Agrahara section later in Chapter 2, while we discuss suburban connectivity, let's now focus on the first 2 parts. The first part of the line from Domasandra Circle to Kadugodi Tree Park will be 13 kilometers long and will run along State Highway 35. Since this line will run along the Domasandra Circle Kattamanallur Gate line, which is also recommended by the Comprehensive Mobility Plan, it seems like a good idea to prioritize this stretch. I have 2 suggestions to construct this line. Firstly, the stretch should be built as a branch line of the Sarjapur-Hebbal line. In this setup, the Sarjapur-Hebbal line would branch at Domasandra Circle towards Kadugodi Tree Park. 2 services could operate independently, one between Sarjapur and Hebbal and another between Sarjapur and Kadugodi Tree Park. Such a branch line will avoid redundancy as the common section between Domasandra Circle and Sarjapur can be shared. Also, infrastructure can be reused by both lines, which will reduce construction costs. My second suggestion is to end the line at Hope Farm Channasandra instead of Kadugodi Tree Park. This is because the Kadugodi Tree Park metro station is not located on the state highway but inside the ITPL main road. If the line ends at Kadugodi Tree Park, then the branch line cannot be extended in the future. However, if it ends at Hope Farm Channasandra, which is located on the state highway, then the line could potentially be extended towards Kattamanallur Gate or Hoskote in the future. Hence, the branch line should end at Hope Farm Chinnasandra instead of Kadugodi Tree Park. This alignment solves almost all issues except for one. This line shares a 3.5 km section with my previously recommended Harohalli Whitefield line between Varthur and Chinnasandra. Hence, I suggest terminating the Harohalli Whitefield line at Varthur, where passengers can interchange to the branch line to continue towards Whitefield. So, for Phase 4 of Namma Metro, I recommend two core city corridors. The first line will run from Harohalli to Varthur for approximately 28 km. The second line will be a branch of the Sarjapur Hebba line, and this branch will run from Domasandra Circle to Hope Farm Chinnasandra for approximately 13 km. These two lines, along with the inner ring metro of Phase 3B, will connect a lot more city areas with the Namma Metro network and will prove highly beneficial for Bengaluru citizens. Now the question arises, what option is the best to connect Bengaluru city with the suburbs? Let's discuss this in the next chapter. As you all are aware, BMRCL is conducting feasibility studies to extend the metro to the suburbs of Bengaluru. Among the 8 proposed suburban stretches, I asked you to pick the top 3. The top 3 lines include a branch of the purple line from KR-Pura to Hoskote, an extension of the yellow line from Bomasandra to Attibele, and the previously discussed Kalena Agrahara Kadugodi Tree Park line. Although selected by more than 50% responses as the top 3 lines, very few of them selected them as the top priority lines for Bengaluru. Also, only 35.9% of respondents wanted metro lines extended to the suburbs, either alongside or separate from core city lines. In fact, experts also highlight that building metro lines to the suburbs is expensive and that metro rail may not be the best fit for long distance commuting. All these points suggest that Namma Metro to the suburbs may not be the best idea. Rather, other options can be explored. One of the options under discussion is the Regional Rapid Transit System or RRTS. RRTS is a rail-based semi-high-speed transportation facility meant to connect a city with its suburbs. RRTS trains run on dedicated tracks and travel much faster than typical metro trains. RRTS trains average about 85 km per hour, while metro trains typically run around 35 km per hour. This is because metro systems are designed for core city travel and have stops at every 1 to 2 kilometers, while RRTS is designed for regional connectivity and has stops every 5 to 10 kilometers. Presently, RRTS is partially operational in the National Capital Region of Delhi, where an 82-kilometer line connects Delhi with Meerut, a major urban center located northeast of Delhi. The RRTS network is managed by a corporation called NCRTC, and the corporation has offered to prepare detailed project reports for RRTS corridors in Bengaluru too. For Bengaluru, NCRTC has proposed 4 corridors. These lines include a 65-kilometer line from Bengaluru to Kolar via Hoskote, a 60-kilometer line from Bengaluru to Tumkur via Nelamangala and Dobaspete, a 145-kilometer line from Bengaluru to Mysuru via Ramanagara and Mandya, and a 138-kilometer line from Bengaluru to Dharmapuri via Hosur and Krishnagiri. If built, travel time between Bengaluru and its suburbs will drastically reduce. From Bengaluru, it will take just 46 minutes to reach Kolar, 42 minutes to reach Tumkur, 1 hour 42 minutes to reach Mysuru, and 1 hour 37 minutes to reach Dharmapuri. These 4 RRTS corridors will provide a much better alternative to metro rail, although they may require higher initial funding. The recent development regarding RRTS is that Karnataka officials visited NCRTC's headquarters, held discussions, and experienced the system. A government minister stated that the proposal is under discussion and that he will take a concrete decision soon. It will be taken seriously if it promises to be a better alternative. While RRTS will provide seamless city-to-suburb connectivity, what about suburb-to-suburb connectivity? Here's where the proposed circular railway comes into the picture. The circular railway will approximately be a 290-kilometer Indian railway line which will connect the suburbs of Bengaluru, forming a ring-like network. It has been described as a long-term solution to cater to the mobility needs of Bengaluru for at least the next 50 years. It will connect Nidavanda, Doddaballapur, Devanahalli, Mallur, Hilalige, Hejala and Sollur with each other. The circular railway network will be a cost-effective solution for Bengaluru's traffic problems as it will provide an alternative suburban route which bypasses the congested city centre. The project will also boost economic and industrial development in Bengaluru's suburbs. As of now, Indian Railways is preparing the detailed project report of this line. It is estimated to cost 81,000 crore rupees and around 2,500 acres of land will be required for the project. The circular railway will be built in 3 phases. Phase 1 from Nidavanda to Mallur via Doddaballapur and Devanahalli. Phase 2 from Mallur to Hejala via Hilalige. Phase 3 from Hejala to Nidavanda via Sollur. The RRTS and circular railway projects should work as complementary systems. RRTS connects suburbs with the core city, providing radial connectivity. On the other hand, the circular railway will connect the suburbs with each other, bypassing the city, providing orbital connectivity. Both of these should be expedited and built along with the next phases of Namma Metro so that Bengaluru is well connected with its suburbs. Now let's again take a look at the question where I had asked respondents to suggest their top 3 suburban metro extensions. In this, the top 2 selected routes were KR to Hoskote and Bommasandra to Attibele. However, RRTS lines are proposed along these routes. The Bengaluru-Kolar RRTS covers KR to Hoskote and the Bengaluru-Dharmapuri RRTS covers the Bommasandra to Attibele section. As I had explained earlier, RRTS is a better option to connect to the city's suburbs. Hence, my suggestion here would be to drop these 2 metro lines but prioritize the RRTS corridors along these stretches. Perhaps the Bengaluru-Hoskote-Kolar RRTS could be built first, as suggested by public opinion. Also, at 65 kilometers, it's shorter than the others, making it a good test case for RRTS in Bengaluru. The third preference of Bengaluru citizens was the Kalena-Agrahara-Kadugodi Tree Park line. As I previously suggested, this line could be built in phases, where the Sarjapur-Hebba line can be branched at Domasandra Circle towards Hope Farm Chandasandra. Now the 49 km section between Kalena Agrahara and Sarjapur via Jigani, Anekal and Attibele remains. Since this route goes through suburban areas, metro rail might not be the best choice here. To connect this ring-shaped route, circular railway could work, or we could consider other options like metro light. Similarly, for the other 5 suburban extensions too, alternative options should be explored. To summarize everything, metro rail should be confined to the core city areas and RRTS or circular railway could be considered to cater to the suburbs. I recommend constructing the 34 km inner ring metro in phase 3 itself as a part of phase 3B, as the demand for this line is maximum. Then, as a part of phase 4, 2 corridors should be constructed. The first line would be a new 28 km line between Harohalli and Varthur, and the second line would be a 13 km branch line of phase 3A from Domasandra Circle to Hope Farm Chandasandra. With these lines included, Namma Metro will become a 330 km network in the future, catering to almost all of Bengaluru. Along with phase 4, the circular railway and RRTS must be developed too. This will help improve connectivity to the suburbs. The Bengaluru-Hoskote-Kolar RRTS could be built as the first priority RRTS line. At the same time, construction can begin on circular railway phase 1, running from Nidavanda to Mallur via Doddaballapur and Devanahalli. For the remaining suburban lines, alternatives like metro light systems must be explored. Before ending the video, I'd also like to share a few commuter suggestions which I had collected in the form. Many commuters stress the need for better last mile connectivity through parking at metro stations or a strong feeder bus network. Bengaluru citizens want BMRCL to learn from their mistakes, minimize delays and ensure that deadlines are strictly met. Another issue cited by many commuters is the fact that they will have to interchange many times to complete their journeys. One key example is the missing direct interchange between the orange and blue lines. If a person needs to travel from Kamakhya to Belandur, they will have to travel on the orange line, interchange at JP Nagar 4th phase to the pink line, interchange at Jayadeva Hospital to the yellow line, and then interchange at Silbot to the blue line. This can be reduced to just one interchange if the orange line is somehow connected directly to central billboard. This idea was suggested by a few respondents and BMRCL must look into this. Lastly, many commuters wanted Namma Metro to be developed in North Bengaluru. Many responses explicitly stated that they wanted the pink line to be extended from Nagpura towards the airport via Thanisandra, R.K. Hegde Nagar and Bhartiya City. This would create a second metro route to the airport, benefiting both air and local travelers. Public opinion suggests this route, so it can be explored too. Since it will not be possible for me to cover all the suggestions in this video, I have uploaded a file link in the pinned comment and description which has everyone's suggestions. Those who are interested can check out others' responses from the file. With this, we have come to the end of this detailed video. As a creator, I've done my part to conduct a survey and propose a Phase 4 for Bengaluru, purely based on reports, expert recommendations and viewer responses. If you find this proposal beneficial for the city, please like and share this video as much as you can with other citizens and decision makers so that we can collectively get the proposal moving. Also, please subscribe to my channel for more such videos. Share your valuable thoughts for this video in the comments below. Thank you very much.